I'm Matthew Chance in Moscow, where you can see gas prices at this station are just over 26 rubles. That's about 80 cents per litre, roughly $3.20 a gallon. Russia is, of course, one of the world's biggest oil producers, so you'd expect prices to be cheaper here than in oil importing countries like the United States. But many Russian drivers say even this price is far too high. The government has been raising prices on fuel, taxes on fuel, indicating that the era of cheap gas, even in this oil-producing nation, may be at an end.
I'm Eunice at a gas station in Beijing. Here in China, gas costs a little bit less than $4 a gallon. The government wants to keep the price of fuel affordable for most of its drivers. However, authorities recently raised the price of gas by about 4% to bring the prices more in line with rising oil prices worldwide. Authorities, though, are trying to keep the price under control because people here are worried about inflation.
Gas prices in Korea now at a 2-year high. I'm Kyung-la in Seoul, where this country is seeing prices of about $1.50 per liter, and that's about $6 a gallon. This country imports nearly all of its oil, so it's reliant on the foreign market. Drivers here say it is a pretty penny now just to drive.
비싸죠?
It's expensive, says this driver, but people are still on the road in a number of different types of vehicles. Drivers say if anything has changed, it's their habits. They're not heading to full-service gas stations like this. They're heading to self-service ones where they are pumping their own fuel because it's cheaper.
I'm Mohammed Jamjoom in Abu Dhabi. Now, many people would assume that fuel prices here in the United Arab Emirates would be extremely low. After all, this is an oil-rich country. But let's break this down. To fill up a tank on your average car here, it costs around 100 dirhams. That's about 28 US dollars. 1 liter of gas here costs about 1.72 dirhams. That converts to about 2 US dollars per gallon. But fuel prices here have gone up twice in the past year, and that's because the government here has decided to scale back its subsidies on gas sales. Now, gas prices here are actually about 30% higher than they were when 2010 began, and there are rumors that a third increase may happen soon. And that's causing a lot of consternation among Emiratis and expats here in the UAE.
I'm Arwa Damon in Kabul. Fuel has always been a problem in war-torn Afghanistan that has seen prices steadily increase for a variety of reasons. Most recently, it has been because of construction on one of the major northern routes, also because Iran temporarily stopped trucks, fuel tankers from entering Afghanistan. And then, of course, we have the ongoing conflict. The last few weeks have seen fuel prices rise by 25 cents, going from $1 to $1.25 a liter, a high price to pay in one of the world's poorest countries. The average government employee here makes between $110 to $120 a month. The average day laborer, $33 a month. So even the slightest hike in fuel prices makes for a big problem.
I'm Patrick. I'm in Havana, where the government sets the price of fuel. This gas station here behind me, you can get a liter of gas for about 110 US dollars. That's about $5.70 for the gallon. Now, the rising costs in fuel was already a major issue here because Cubans are facing energy and transportation crises. Particularly hard hit are private chauffeurs called taxi particulares, and they say they're unable to pass along the rise in these costs to their passengers. And you have to figure in that these drivers are already going around, many of them, in American cars from the 1950s, which are notorious for guzzling gas. Cuba does benefit from its close relationship with Venezuela, which sends the island about 100,000 barrels of oil each day. And the Cuban government is also hoping to develop large offshore oil fields with the help of foreign partners. Until that happens, though, the price of fuel will continue to have a major impact on the economy here.